Hey, what's going on guys? How all you are doing? Welcome to a brand video tutorial from iPNOS. We are in the 7th tutorial on the series of making a control management system or content management system using Laravel. In the last one we have covered the add-in categories, also the pop-ups and the Ajax and how it's going to work, or how to use pop-ups with Ajax. When you click the edit, you can edit the category name using an Ajax, also a pop-up. You can also remove it, like it gives you a warning before removing the category completely from the database, and how all of these kind of things, how to route into your controller, yada yada yada, using all of this kind of stuff, and it's working fine. You should follow the last video tutorials for understanding more. For today's, we're gonna talk about, or we're gonna cover the add a new post. So how to add a new post, how to move the post into the database. Of course, we're going to create the migration of the database for the specific post table. Also, we're going to add the post, and we're going to speak about what's like HTML or text editor you can use for your post creation. Like when you're going to put this on a blog or something, you want to have a bit of styling, like a text styling or HTML styling, like adding colors, like changing the font, making it bold, making it a bit bigger, like the font size, yada yada yada. I'm gonna talk about these editors at the end of the video. So for the add a new post, I've already made a form for that. Just a basic form, does nothing, only just the form fields. As you can see, this post title, post category, and a post content up there, and added a new post button of the bottom in here. So this is the page. I've set it up normally as we have done with the category. I've gone and go to the web.php, added a new route. As you can see here, I'm gonna talk about this route, add a new post in a second. And I've added a new post, the routes in here, and it's gonna like go into the post controller. I've created a post controller using PHP artisan make controller. So PHP artisan make controller, and I named it post controller for sure. So that's simple. And obviously I've gone like created another model for the post, so I'm gonna use that model to fetch the data, also save the data to the database. So I've already created the model the same way, PHP artisan make model, just call it a post with a capital P at the beginning. And this is what I've done. Now I haven't done the migration yet, so I will create a migration for that. Gonna be very simple. Let me just delete this migration. Let me talk about this a little bit. So we're gonna create a table on the database. So for that, PHP artisan make migration, simple as this, and we're gonna call it create admin panel. I'm gonna call the post table an admin panel. So I don't know, you can call it whatever, but I like the name of admin panel rather than just calling it post or something. It's just very convenient for me. So admin panel, and this should do the job perfectly. Cannot open input file artisan. I can't type artisan. No, it should create the migration for us, and we should set up the migration as well for creating the tables. You can see create a new admin. We've already talked about what is this up and down methods and how you can use them properly for your usage, like how to use migration for adding or editing tables. You can check out the tutorials back there. And let me go back, or create a migration. Let me just wait for this to finish. So we're gonna do that. So you can access your admin panel. So by going to localhost phpMyAdmin, and you can see your database in there. So our database, we've called it, I can't quite remember about this, like localhost phpMyAdmin again. And we're still, the migration hasn't been created yet. Why? Okay, well, we're still waiting for that. And the localhost is taking too long to respond. And why that specifically? Something is going on in here. Okay, still waiting for adding the posts. So for the controller, if we go to the controller up there, like post controller, you're gonna find the proper thing, since we have used the -- resources option. So it's gonna give us this like methods to use right out of the box: update, edit, show, store. I'm gonna use it for the index. I've already done this, just returning a view to the pages, add a new post, blade.php, which I've created in here. If we go to their pages, add a new post.blade.php. You should be familiar how to create blades, how to return views and routes, all of this kind of things, since we have covered that in the last video tutorials and we have talked about them a little bit more than we should. So you should be like familiar with that for now. And as you can see, I've used the form collective. You can use a normal form for this purpose, but I've rather use a form collective because it's a little bit more supported from the Laravel side. It can work just right out of the box. You can here use a URL instead of a route, but since I'm defining a route, I'm gonna just use a route for this. I've already defined a route, so if you use the route in here, and make sure to define it in there, just define it in here. There'll just define this because it's gonna give you a weird error that you won't be able to understand. And here's our PHP admin. If you go into our Laravel CMS database, we've created that, and we're gonna browse into, we have just only migrations and category. Now we're gonna add admin panel table in here. We're gonna hold our posts, like the author of the post, created ad and updated ad timestamps, as well the title and the post content itself. Maybe we're gonna add an image. So for the image with Laravel, not gonna be that hard already, but yeah, simple enough to create that. And this is not working or something, like this has been created successfully, but it's just kind of giving us an error. We'll try to open up a new bash window and just close the last one in here. So let me use the new bash one. Make sure you can use Visual Studio Code multiple terminals windows in here, which is really cool. So PHP artisan make migration and create admin panel. That should make the migration for us right out of the box. And which one is the one what we need? Both of them are empty, and this should do the job for you. I don't know, I have some kind of an error that won't complete the migration successfully in here, but it's still gonna work. I'm just gonna move this to the recycle bin. I'm just gonna leave one of these. Now, after the migration has been successfully created, there was some issue anyway. So we've got this schema create admin panel table, and with the callback function blueprint, and we create the table. So first we give it the increments ID. This should be this should be in every table you use or you create actually. So the increments ID as well as the timestamp. So the timestamp's gonna fill the fields for you, like the created ad and the updated ad. So whenever you edit or create a new post, is gonna be like change those for you automatically, like within Laravel. So this is a really nice job from Laravel. And now we need to add the fields, so we can use a string, and the string gonna be for us for the post title. I'm gonna give it a 200. So also beside the table, I'm gonna need the author. So author gonna have only just about 50 because the author name shouldn't take more than 50 characters. And a bit table again. I'm gonna call this, we have a title, we have an author, and we're gonna need to think about this for a second. A table, an author, and a category. Okay, a category. I totally forgot about this. The category also gonna be a string. Nothing special in here. So category. I'm also gonna give the category the same as we have put in the category here. So make sure to like the category name to make it match in here, because if you don't, you're gonna have like some mismatching when inserting from one table to another or exchanging the data between those. So therefore you're gonna need to make sure that everything is set up correctly in here. Maybe you're gonna add a table, and this is gonna be like for the thumbnail. So string the image URL we're gonna upload, so we can call it image, and that image gonna be presented as, therefore I'm gonna have it about 200 for the characters, and a string as well. So maybe you can make this unknowable, so we don't have to insert this right out of the box. So nullable, I believe this is gonna work for us without issues, and that should do the job perfectly right now for creating the table. Now running the migration to give us a title, author, category, and an image. So let's try to do that. PHP Addison, migrate. Okay, now we should migrate our changes. The migrated. Now going and checking for that, we should see a new table just has been added into our database, and that is the admin table, or admin panel, and that should have the ID, the title, the author, the category, and the image in created as and the updated now. Now if we check out the structure, we should see that the image gonna be a null. So if you're not gonna insert anything in here, like this is gonna be a null, but it can be an empty. But rather than just for the title, you must insert something in the title, like you must insert a text or a string on the title, rather than, or it's not gonna work for you. It's gonna give you an exception or an error. But this is a nullable, so you don't have to insert anything in here if you would like, but you can insert it in here as well. So you get the point. Actually, it's really simple. So after creating the migration, now we'll go ahead and using our Laravel form in here, like post title and the post content. And for a second here for the post categories, as you can see, it's empty, and we can actually go ahead and make it show us the category, like the available categories in here. Like whenever we add the new category, it's gonna show it us in here in the select form. So that's gonna be very simple to do as well. So let's go ahead and do that from the PostController. Since we are returning the view, so we should pass in a categories, like the available categories in there. We should pass it into a variable into our blade, or into our new post blade.php. For that, we're gonna get the categories, the all categories actually, and we need to use the categories in here, like including the model of the category, which is presented under the app. So app category, you can use app, and make sure to include every model on the controller you're gonna need to use, or you wanna need to use on it. So category, and I'm gonna call this in here the category model. So category, gonna order by the created at. So the created at timestamp and descending, and we're gonna get it all. So all the array, we're gonna sort in there. So now we're gonna pass it with, and we're gonna call the categories and pass in the categories variable. As simple as that. It's gonna pass in the categories into our add new post.php blade. Then we can loop through each category and then render the name of the category in there under the select or the options. So now I'm going to add a new category. As you can see, I've already set up in here. I don't really like setting up this using a Laravel collective, but you can do it. But you can use it this old way. I don't know, can't understand. It's a bit confusing about that when you're using the Laravel collective. So that's why I'm using it in the normal way. For here, we're gonna loop on each category. So for the options, we're gonna use the for each in here. So for each categories as category, and we're gonna end the for each in here. So here we're gonna put the name, use the curly braces, then close them to render out or to echo. So category, and we're gonna call it the name. So make sure like this is like a class or an instance of an object, and we accessing its variable. As simple as this. Now it should give us all of the available categories. Now going back into add a new post, and under the selects, we should see something like the categories. But in define variable category view category what? Okay, I'm misspelling a lot of stuff this tutorial. Something is going on with me. So as you can see, we have category, we have only one category. I believe we can use a default option in here, like including on the top option with a default value like no category, then checking against that. It's gonna be very simple as well. So we can render that like, or without using this actually. Why am I using this? Okay. No category. And this should do the job perfectly. Now for adding the posts. For adding the posts, you're gonna use the PostController as well. Now going back into the PostController, under the store function, we're gonna use this function to store our data to the database on the admin panel table. So it's gonna accept the request, and here on the web.php, we're gonna route it like if it goes to the add post, which name post to add this route, which we are actually using it on the form itself. So it's gonna call post.add, the route name it post.add. So we've already set up that, and it's gonna be routed into the PostController at the store function. So we're gonna use the store function. You can change any function in here, but using the store for making it looks convenient a bit. So the PostController, and here we're gonna fetch the data. So for using that, we're gonna use something. Give me a second. So request, I can't quite remember this, but it should be, so go ahead and check the category for a second. Yeah, as you can see, it's going to give us the default option to a no category. If we add a new category, like a new category, it's going to display this to there, new cat, and it should give us the new cats and do the select. As you can see, the message, successful missions, and no category, you're gonna find new cat, and the category you can select it and you can push it into the database. As simple as that, it's gonna work for us without problems in here. Now for adding the post, we're actually gonna use a function to validate our request, and this is gonna call, or this is called a validate function. So this is like a Laravel. So we passed in the request we wanna check out and an array of fields that we want to check out. So here we're gonna put the name of the field we want to check. Like this is gonna be called the post title. So if you go ahead and check out and do the add a new post.play.php, and sorry this guys, and going down to actually the table, the post title, and we've called this, like we give it a name of a post title. So you should put the same name in here and like a key value pairs. And for the value, you're gonna put like required, which means you're gonna return an error if this field is an empty. So it's not gonna accept this field an empty field. If it is, it's gonna Laravel gonna return an exception like please make sure to fill out all the fields or something. Like this is how it works. You can separate different things with I don't know what it's called, this character, but you can separate them actually, and you can check out the documentation for more Laravel functionality like this. You can check out like docs Laravel validate or validation, and it gonna gives you a loads of stuff to use in there. It's very helpful. You can use you can use the min, like the minimum character is gonna be in there, or the maximum character is gonna be in there. It's very helpful for you. I'm just gonna use the required. Also gonna use a minimum or a minimum of about, let's say 3, and a maximum of, we've put it at about 200. So I'm using the minimum and the maximum in here. And for the other field, it is called post category. For this one, also gonna give it a required as well. We're gonna do another checking that it shouldn't be like no category in there. So we can do this in here, like required. And also the text area. So the text area called be post content, and post content is gonna be required as well. So yeah, and we haven't created the post contents field in here. So sorry this guys, you can redo the migration, like remove this one. You can just copy this and like delete this migration, then go ahead and create a new migration, then migrate. So PHP artisan make migration and create admin panel. They're gonna do a migration for us, but we're gonna use it, or we're gonna add a manual thing. So we haven't created a post content in here field. Let's do that very quickly. We're going to add after updated ads, or after the image. Okay, after the image, go you should know how to use that. I'm gonna use a variable character in here. The length gonna be like 10,000 or something, because it's gonna be very big. Gonna write very big posts in here. So this all the posts, where all the post data are gonna be in. So this should be 1,000,000 or something. Do whatever, just do an arbitrary big number. And here we're gonna call it a post rather than just using a post content. Just call it simple post. Represents a post. Symbols that now it should be in there like a post. And we should have our migration created. And let me just paste this in here and save it. You can run this, but I've used this manually. Now for the post, I've called post content required and a semicolon in here. Now it should do this for us perfectly. Now we can return hello world in here just for testing purposes. And if you go into the Laravel and trying to like refresh, then it should add the post title for us. So if you're gonna call it stem, or let's make this an empty thing and just try to add an arbitrary thing, it should give us an error. The post title field is required. As you can see, this is like the validation. But now if we can insert this, we're gonna get a message like hello world. So we shouldn't get a message, we should get a response like posts or has been added successfully in there, something like this. Pretty familiar. So now we need to add the posts. After validating, we're going to add the post actually. For that, we're gonna create an instance. So we're gonna call this post equals new post, and make sure to include the post model up here. So use /post and go all the way down into here. Now created that. Now we're using post dot title gonna be equals to request post title. So the name of the field in here, post, the author I believe gonna be just the default author, which is N-07 for now. You can implement this authentication thing by adding another page for adding the authors in here, like add an author and you can choose the author from here, or the logged in author. Yeah, it's kind of complicated between authors and things, but you can do it very easily once you understand how to use Laravel, like and using or talking with the database, fetching from data from database, and initiating or initializing instances of the models. It's gonna be very simple for you. Now for the post, the other post is gonna be post, and we have in here the category. So post category equals request the post category, and we have post, pretty simple or something. And here we're gonna add the request post contents. The image is nullable. You can add an image here, but we're not supporting image yet. You can use image, or you can check out the documentation for how to upload images using Laravel. Gonna be very simple. Just upload it and put it or move it into a separate folder into your public. Then you can use it right out of the box by like putting into the image field a URL of the actual image. Then when rendering the data on the page of your blog, just fetch in the URL and put it into an image element, and here we go. You can do that very simply as I get. Now we should return a response and we should give it a section or a session message of like a flash. We have already talked about it. So flash, we're gonna give it a success. So success and post added successfully. As simple as this. So the post has been. Now the one thing is save instance. We haven't saved the post, so just call post save method and it's gonna be saved for you into the database. This is all what we need to do for now. The timestamps, the created and the updated, are gonna be filled out automatically by Laravel, so you don't have to do anything. And here we should call response, and we should call it back, like goes to the last page or to the actual page that we were in. Like the request comes in, go back to it. Simple as that, which means to go back to the add new post page. Now refresh. This should do the just for us. We have success, post added successfully. Now let's add new post in here. The category gonna be like category and contents posts. Okay, add a new post. Let's see. We have an error. Table Laravel doesn't exist. CMS. What she's talking about? Into posts. I believe I haven't done something like Laravel CMS.post doesn't exist because I haven't changed the table. Under the post model, make sure to change the table if you have a different name than the model name in here, which I have this one called post but the table called admin panel. So I'm gonna call this protected. So protected and table. I'm gonna change this to admin panel. Make sure to do that for every model you have a different name than your class's name. So now we should refresh this back. We should do the same thing. New content, new post, whatever. It goes back to the main CMS and the new posts. And post title and the category in here and content. Now we should add new posts and that should do the job, but method bag does not exist, giving us like the method bags not exist. Something is going on in here, like the back doesn't exist. We're gonna just call the back method. I believe that should work for us. Continue. And yeah, post added successfully because the back method isn't under the response, it's just back in here, like single back method. So post added successfully. Now go ahead and check out under the database admin panel and browse. We should find two posts, which one by mistake anyway. The one post title is anyways category and the null for the image and the content for the, you can add in here whatever you want. So yeah, it's working fine with the success messages. You can also return an error by changing this success to error, and here we go. You can do that very nice way. Now we have added the post, but we can't actually indeed see the post content. So that where the edit post comes in. It's gonna be very simple. You're just gonna fetch in the data from the database that displayed in here and allowing the user or the content manager, the content creator to manage that and save it or update the actual post in the database. It's gonna be very simple as well. Also, the dashboard gonna hold up the recent posts that have been created in the database, so displaying them and giving it like a button for editing the posts, where just gonna redirect you into a new page where you just gonna need to like edit the post and save the instance into the database. As simple as this. Also, for the simple blog, like rendering the post available here. So we can't see it right now, but in the next video tutorial, we're gonna talk about a simple blog with Laravel, a complete project from Laravel, with a blog gonna render out or show us what we have from posts in there, so how you can render things with Laravel and using the for loops and stuff like this. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this video tutorial. It might be quietly long, but it hasn't a lot of stuff in here because we've already learned about the basic things. So this is like kind of managing stuff on the CMS. So this is how the CMS is being built. You can add a lot of functionalities in here, like the admin, the author, the comments, loads of other things, like the big CMS uses for like the new feature or something. So thank you guys for watching again. See you in the next video tutorial. Please make sure to subscribe, like, push the like button. I'm gonna have a load of tutorials and features. See you in the next one. Goodbye.